All right, let's get it. So I'm about to go live, and we are officially live now. So Chris, I'm super excited to have this conversation with you because I know stock options is one thing that I dabbled into for a little bit. I have a little bit of familiarity in it. My most of my familiarity comes in like with forex options and things like that. So I'm excited to just have you on here and bring in the differences between forex and stock options and how it can be a tool that folks can use, as I put in the thumbnail, how they can make some of their holiday money back from all that spending, over these
Right.
last couple months or so. So, Chris, I'm gonna pass the mic over to you. I'm gonna pass the mic over to you to introduce yourself to our listeners a little bit about, where you're from, how you got into stock options, and really the success that you have in stock options, because you got to be doing your thing for me to be seeing you on $1 million worth of game with Wallow and Gilly, and the content you putting out on Instagram is definitely some educational content. So tell our listeners a little bit more about where your journey started in the stock options.
Definitely. So, like you said, my name is Christopher Jackson. What I do is I have a stock option trading program where I teach you how to make $500 to $1,000 a day. Right. So that's the whole goal. My goal is to show you how you can make $500 to $1,000 a day and show you that you do not have to rely on your full-time job to be able to live a life that you want to live or to pay all your expenses. Right. That's my whole objective. Right. And I started trading stock options crazy. Right now, I know where you located by the beach. I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, right? And I had never heard of stock option trade a day in my life. The stock market was something foreign to me. Like at my dinner table, the stock market wasn't something that we had a conversation about. You see what I'm saying? So me and my wife, it's a Valentine's Day. We go to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and we went to this wine tasting. And a guy came to the wine tasting, him and his family. He said he was on vacation for 8 weeks. He's on vacation for 8 weeks. So the first thing that popped in my head is, how in the world is somebody on vacation for 8 weeks at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina with their whole family? Okay, right. So at the time, I had a trucking company. At the time, I had two 40-foot hot shot trucks, and I was so I threw it out at him like, listen, I got a trucking company. He didn't bite. He's like, okay, he didn't bite on it, right? And then I said I want to get in an HVAC. He still didn't bite on it. And then the couple that we was down there with, the person said, I want to learn about the stock market. When I say he said he want to learn about that stock market, the next 3 hours he over there buying us drinks and telling us about the stock options. He said he literally just made $1,000 before he came downstairs from trading Tesla. And I'm like, nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. We stay away from the stock market. That's not something we do. But needless to say, next thing you know, he said, well, when you get home, Chris, call me and I'm gonna set your screen up for me. I got home, called him. He set my screen up for me, gave me a little bit of game, and then he threw me in the ocean, told me to learn how to swim. And that's it. And now I'm here. So that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that story when we first connected, Chris, on like how, that timing was so divine, how you just stumbled across this person who really just wanted to see you succeed. I mean, just wanted to bless you with the information. And it's not too often that, we come across people who are willing to get and pour themselves into us at the level that this guy did, or so we think, right? A lot of us sometimes just don't know how to open up our mouths, and these people might be surrounding us every single day. So you talk about making $500 to $1,000 a day in the stock market. What about stock options enables you to make that type of money on a daily and consistent basis? Because I know for myself, when I first, heard about this term, I was pretty confused. And I can imagine our listeners who might be tuning in and hearing this word for the first time, most people thinking stocks is like a long-term play. Right. What's the difference between, trading stocks and trading stock options that allows you to make these returns on a daily basis?
So the beautiful thing is this, though. So when you trade stocks, right, for one, they're more expensive, right? And you have to hold them for a long amount of time. Okay. When you trade stock options, they're not as expensive, and you can trade them short term and long term. Either one you want to do, okay? But the main thing is this. If I wanted to buy stocks, Apple, say if Apple's at $100, right? And I want to buy 100 shares of Apple, it's going to cost me roughly $10,000, okay? If I'm doing that math correctly, I believe I am, right? But if I want to buy 100 shares as a stock option, a contract, right? I could spend roughly around $140. So I just said, I can spend $140 and get 100 shares of Apple, or I can get 100 shares of Apple and spend $10,000 if I want to get the actual stock. It's a big price difference. The only difference is when you buy that stock, you have that stock forever until you sell it. But with the contract or with the stock option, you have to sell it by a particular date. That's the difference between it. Okay. And the beautiful thing about how I'm able to come into the stock market and make, like yesterday, for example, I made $970 yesterday trading stock options. I traded for like an hour and a half. The reason is I understand the story of the market. The market tells the same stories over and over and over. The market is truly a beautiful love story if you put it in that concept. You can literally put the market into a concept and you can explain the market through that concept. That's why I explain the market using R&B music. Like Wallow called me the R&B king of stock options, right? So I teach the whole stock market using R&B music. And I break it down in simplest terms.
Now you said it's like it's a love story.
Mm-hmm.
What does that story look like? Like, how are you able to, like, is this something that your mentor kind of taught you? Is this something that you kind of saw over time? Like, how do you even interpret it as this story? And what does that story look like? What does that story tell?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I give all praise to the Most High, because I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The way that I put the concept into a story was not taught to me, right? Mm-hmm. It really wasn't taught to me. Like the Most High, he as I go through this and read and going through the charts, he just start downloading things into my mind. But the actual technical analysis aspect of it, those things were taught to me. But when I had to break it down and put it in my own language. That was the hardest thing to do, because I can hear everybody talk about all this technical stuff in the stock market. I'm like, listen, I'm not a slow leak. I hear what you're saying, but it's not making sense to me. Like I can't grasp what you're saying. And then it just kind of start coming together. The Most High I start spending time with it. The Most High, I feel like the Most High right beside me, spending time with me too. And he started breaking it down in simplest terms. It's like when you're doing long division, or it's like when you're doing a fraction in math, right? You got 10 over 2. 10 over 2 is 5. So 10 over 2 does not stay 10 over 2. You can break it down simpler to 5 over 1, right? So that's what I do. I break it all the way down. And it's a beautiful thing. So for example, when you think about a love story, I use this thing called support and resistance, right? You got support is like a line down here where it's like a floor, and you got resistance is like your ceiling inside your house. So right now in your house, look up at your ceiling. Look at your ceiling from right now. That's your resistance, right? Now look at your floor. That's your support. And you're in between the ceiling and the floor. Now I want you to think about this. Think about you and say your old lady, for example, your significant other, for example, y'all right beside each other, okay? Mm-hmm. Inside this house that y'all in, right? And you tell your significant other, hey, I want to move forward with you. I want to get married to you. I think we should be together. In order for you guys to be together, you have to get from the floor that you're on to the second floor. So you got to go through that resistance. But at resistance is your significant other's feelings and emotions and fears that she had to deal with in her previous relationship. So every time you guys try to break through the ceiling, she says, no, we're not getting married. So when she tells you, no, you're not getting married, where do you go right back to? You go right back down to the floor. You see what I'm saying? Now, eventually, after you keep doing that and doing that and doing that, you're going to say, okay, listen, do you want to be with me, yes or no? If you're going to ask her, do you want to be with me, yes or no? And she says, no, I don't want to be with you. Then that's when now it's time for you to get out of that house. So that support floor that you have, now you've broken through that support floor, and we call that Chris Brown. It's never a right time to say goodbye, but I got to make the first move. If I don't, you're going to start hating me. Okay? So when you break through the support, that's going through the floor, is going down. We call it Chris Brown. If you break through resistance and she says, yes, I want to be with you, I'm going to open up my heart to you, we call that jagged edge. Meet me at the altar in your white dress. We're not getting any younger, we might as well do it. Let's get married. So that's kind of how I break it down using R&B and using like a relationship type of things to it. I think we froze.
No, that makes sense. So are you saying, like, now I can hear you? Can you hear me?
It's kind of going in and out.
Okay. Let me make sure that I got
we good
this
now. We good now.
Okay, perfect. So when you explain these breakthroughs, hitting through that floor, that Chris Brown and that jagged edge, are
Yep.
these opportunities that you have to look at to where you bouncing, you got to get out of that option, or what? What is the decision that you have to make?
The decision is that's when you get into it. So if we say jagged edge, let's get married, and we break through that ceiling, that hole, that ceiling right there. We want to go through it, and then it has to come back and test. You see what I'm saying? Now you got to test your significant other to see if they really truly mean, and we're gonna go ahead and go to this altar.
Gotcha.
After it test, and boom, it goes back, start moving back up. That's when you enter. Chris Brown, when it breaks through Chris Brown, we all know in relationships what happened. You break up, and next thing you know what happened. You mess around and shoot a text message. Hey, what's up? I miss you. This and the third. And then y'all get back together, right? So what we have to verify is when it breaks through that floor and it comes back up, we got to verify that. Listen, when that text message come back, hey, what you doing? Let's get back together. You say, nah, we done. Boom, Chris Brown, get in the put. It's going down. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha. So these are now signals on when you need to bust a move and either put in. It's like I think the terminology is a call or a put, right?
Yep. A call means the stock price is going up. A put means the stock price is going down. Exactly.
Gotcha. So jagged edge mean I'm placing puts.
Nah, jagged edge mean I'm placing calls because we're going to get married at the altar. That means we're gonna be together. Chris Brown means I'm placing puts because we breaking up. It's never the right time to say goodbye.
Gotcha. Okay. So now, man, Chris, you breaking it down in like layman's terms for folks to really digest this. As far as like the learning curve that it takes to understand this, because you just broke that down in 2 minutes to make it super understandable for people to at least know what they're looking at. For ideally, right? But what is the typical learning curve from hearing this information and be like, yo, I want to get into stock options today and I want to make $500. How long would it typically take me to be able to get consistent to where I'm making that type of money?
Gotcha. It all depends on the person, right? It all depends on the person. Like you got some people that may come in a month or 2 months and they're making $200 to $300 to $400. And you got some people who may take 6, 7, 8 months because it all depends on what you put into it, right? It all depends on what you put into it. If you're the type of person to say, listen, I got the information, I'm about to go study, I'm about to go paper trade with fake money until I get it. I'm going to study, and you put the work in, a month, 2, 3 months, you can be rolling. But if you somebody that say, okay, I'm gonna study this day, I'm not gonna study the next day, I'm gonna study this day, I'm gonna do some practicing here and there, it's gonna take you a little bit longer to do that.
Okay. So I should be like, as a new person, what is the time investment you would suggest for somebody coming in wanting to really take it seriously? Like, is this something they should put, 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day, when they get off of work, should that be the only thing that they should focus on? Do they really need to drop everything to pick up this new skill? What is the workload look like to be able to come to an understanding on this?
So that's a great question. And I answer it 2 different ways, right? So the person that's truly wanting to do it is going to take over their life. It's not like it's the person that truly wants to do it. It's not like, okay, let me sit down and put 2 hours to it. No, it's going to be every moment that you're up, it's going to be right here in your mind. You're going to be thinking about it. Like when you at work, you're going to put earbuds in your ear. You're going to sit there and be watching videos about stock option trading. When you at home at night, before you're going to make sure, if you got a whole bunch of kids, you got kids and stuff in the family, you're going to make sure the kids sleep, the wife in the bed or the girlfriend, whatever. And you're going to go to your private place and you're just going to start studying and fall asleep on it. Like that's the person who's like, listen, I know this is what time it is. I'm about to fall head first into it. It's not something that you try to do. It's going to consume you because you're going to sit there and say, I've been searching all my freaking life for this one thing and I finally found it. And it's going to consume you, right? But to the other person, it's more so like, give it like tell people, listen, you do like an hour a day, hour or 2 a day, and go at your own pace, okay? And you will eventually get there. That's kind of what I tell people.
Gotcha. So it still could work out for those people who may have a 9 to 5 and a side hustle. They trying to make this that second side hustle.
Yep, it definitely work out. The thing about it, the market, I always tell people, don't be in a rush to get into the market. I tell people do 100 fake paper trades before you make your first real trade because the market is not going anywhere. The market's going to be here Monday through Friday, Every day except for holiday, excluding weekends and holidays. It's gonna be here. It's just time. It's just time for you to once you learn to get ready to get into it. It's gonna be waiting on you when it's time to get there. It's not gonna go like a trend or some kind of fad.
Right. And speaking of that operations schedule, like most industries, whether it's credit repair, whether it's wholesaling, real estate, whatever it is, all of these industries kind of have their seasons where it kind of peaks, and in those seasons where business gets slow. Do you see that in the stock market, where it's seasons where it's not that much money to be made? Especially with stock options seeming to be so different.
Yeah. Nah, so the thing about it is, this is the beautiful thing about stock options. We don't care if the market is going up, if the market is going down. It does not matter to us, because we make money when it goes up and we make money when it goes down. That's why I always tell people, when COVID was going on, right? When COVID hit, you could not leave your house. You could not be 6 feet beside each other, right? You see what I'm saying? And you was on lockdown. The whole world had shut down. When the whole world shut down, the stock market did this, straight up. It went straight up. So no matter what's going on in life, if we go into a recession, it doesn't matter. You still make money in the stock market trading stock options, because if it goes up one day, you make money. If it goes down one day, you make money. Only if as long as you understand the story that the market is telling you, it's golden, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's definitely beautiful.
So I see them. So I see those markers going up. I know that the story it's a beautiful love story. Then
beautiful love, it's like I tell you, it's a beautiful love story, like Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, and then it's going down. We nearing our time. This is the time that we might have to take a break. We might be separated for some time, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. All that good stuff. And the thing, and once you truly understand and you see that story, you can be like, man, holy crap. It's not that difficult. It's just about having somebody break it down to you to where you can understand it.
Coolio. So what would be like the get my feet wet? What's like the tools that I would need? Just a laptop and my cell phone. Yep. What would I need to get started?
Man, I tell people this, the beautiful thing about trading stock options is, only thing you need is me, myself, and I. You need me, myself, and I in the laptop. That's it. You don't need any type of marketing strategy. You don't need to go get an LLC. You don't need to go get funded with startup capital. You don't need to go buy no products. You don't need to go find customers to come to you. You don't need anything. Only thing you need is yourself. And one thing you can always say about yourself is, no matter what happens, you've known yourself since the day you was born. You've been with yourself since the day you was born. And that's the only individual that you need to learn how to make money in this market. Or I can say continuously make money in this market after you learn how to do it. You don't need all that extra stuff. You don't have to worry about if your vendor sent all the stuff, or if something is broken, inventory. You don't need none of that stuff, man. It's beautiful. Like I can trust myself above anybody else. I can trust myself. And that's what you need.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, the only thing is, though, with it, if you stop working, then that you're not making any money too at the same time, right? Or have you found ways that you can automate these things, or is that probably not the path that you want to go?
So when you say stop working, what do you mean?
Like if you decide to like sit down and you on vacation, and let's say you just don't have that hour and a half that you had yesterday to put into trading. You don't have that hour and a half today because you're on vacation. You want to put the phones down. That you pretty much are saying you chalking that day up.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, unless you in a swing trade. Like I said, I have positions where I'm on in SPY. I have 2-year contracts out. That means I don't have to touch it it can make me $1,000 one day, and I'm not even looking at it. Like I may sometimes I get into a 2-year contract. I don't even look at it at all for like 3 months. Because I know I have the expectation of, no matter what it does, I'm not selling this thing until 2 years from now, 1 year from now. And then there's plays I can get in where I'm getting in today at 10 o'clock and I'm getting out at 10:05 today. You see what I'm saying? So it's different ways you can look at it. But as long as you're in that stock market, no matter what's going on, you either making money or losing money.
Gotcha. So I think the misconception is when it comes to stock options, most people might look at it as this is something you do during that hour and a half that you trading, and that's what you're doing. But you saying that you could pick swing trades that may not expire within that hour and a half that you spend trading. You could pick one. And let me ask you this: have you ever put in a trade with the thought process, I'm about to go on vacation. I know these days I'm not going to really be active. Let me put a trade or let me look for a trade that makes sense for maybe a week or 2 to 3 days. Do you apply that type of mindset to it as well?
Yeah, definitely. So think about this. So it's similar to what you just said, right? But say for example, I'm finna go out of town or something. I say, okay, I'm not gonna have any technology. If we go into it with no technology, right? I can get into a trade and I can tell the system, hey, I'm only willing to lose $200. Now I want to make 1,000. Well, let's say I want to make 500, but I'm only willing to lose 200. I get into that trade, set my stop loss, set my profit taking level, and boom, tell the system to do it. I close my computer and walk away and don't come back and check it for a week later. And I either made 500 or lost roughly $200, right? Because you don't have to sit around and be around your computer. You can automate certain things, right? But don't automate people, let people like a machine or robot trade for you, but you just automate and tell the system, hey, sell when I lose 200 and take profit when I make 500, whichever one comes first.
I had a buddy of mine who was doing stock options a while back, and when I was first kind of looking at that as an avenue for me, the way he kind of broke it down, and I think is beneficial for a lot of people when they hear lost. I think that's a scary word for people, and that's what stops a lot of people from going into these ventures anyway. What he was saying, instead of using the word loss, he used spend. Like, I'm willing to, because people spend money every day.
Right.
I'm willing to spend $200 instead of I'm willing to lose $200.
That's dope. No, that I like that. That's dope. That's dope. Because it's basically the same concept. I love it. Yep.
Same concept. Okay, I was about to ask you, like, what's your thoughts on it? Is it the same thing? Is it a little bit?
It's the same thing. Think about it. If you lose, say for example, you lose $200 for that day, and you say, okay, you go into the market saying, okay, I'm willing to lose this $200 a day. That's basically like you saying, I'm willing to go into the mall and buy these pair of shoes for $200. You see what I'm saying? It's the exact same concept. Only thing about it is, it's 100% fact. When you buy them tennis shoes, they're going to decrease in value. Right. But when you put that money into that market, you have an opportunity to make $200 more, make $300, $400 more, whatever. Right. So you gotta weigh it like that.
And most people not going to the mall with the intention saying, I'm going to buy these shoes with the plan on selling them in 2 months.
By no means.
But I like that because, you have people who might budget for mall trips. You might have people who impulsively just say, I'm going to go to the mall today and spend a rack. I think if we look at it like that, like, hey, I'm about to get on my computer and I'm going to spend a rack. Or, hey, I'm going to budget so that tomorrow I can go on my computer and I could spend 200, right? I think if we look at it at that lens, I think a lot more people might have more success just because now the mindset kind of shifts towards it. So now I got my laptop, I got myself, I got that faith in myself. Now I just need Chris Jackson to come, show me the ways. I know, Chris, you got a program right now where you got a community that's like bringing people up and uplifting people in this the you call it the land of the motherland. What did you call it?
The promised land.
Promised land. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So tell us about the promised land and at what point should we come to you to enter that promised land? Like, is there a prerequisite period that we should go through, or should we just run the play and just come straight to you?
Yeah. So what I do is the first time someone comes to me and they first met me, right? So or meet me, right? I take them on a journey. Okay. I take everything off of take them through a journey. And that journey starts in, if I go biblical, right? Egypt, right? The children of Israel was in their land of captivity. So majority of the time, when someone comes to you looking for a way out there in their land of captivity, that means they may not make enough money, or they may make a lot of money, they just don't have enough time to spend with their family because they working all the time, right? Or they just want to be able to build, just be able to build more money or more revenue so they can take back control of their life, right? That's your land of captivity, whatever it may be. So what I do is I give them, like, I have a $7 course that I give, that sometimes I give out for free, sometimes it's $7, right? But what it does is a 3-hour course that shows you what you're about to get into, and it go in depth as well, right? But it shows you exactly what you're about to get into. And I do that because I want you to understand, for one, what you're about to get into, and two, if you like my teaching style, okay? If I'm someone that you can learn from. I don't want you to invest a whole bunch of money with me, right? And then you find out, oh, I don't like Chris's teaching style. No, I want you to be able to make a decision and say, okay, his teaching style is something that I believe that can help me get to the next level. Okay, so from there, I have after that particular trip, or that particular $7 course, I take them on stage 2 of the journey, which take them to the wilderness, right? Or take them into another stage. It's my challenge, or it's my this month is my, in February is my mastermind. Okay, and my 5-day mastermind is where I'm breaking down everything from A to Z. When I say everything from A to Z, I'm giving you all the tools that you need to be able to go out there and trade stock options. We're opening up your brokerage for you. We're setting up your screen so your screen can look like mine. I'm teaching you how to understand the stories, right? I'm teaching you all of this stuff, teaching you how to buy and sell. I'm giving you homework. I'm giving you tutorial videos. I'm giving you all these things. I'm teaching for 5 days live, right? That's stage 2. And then stage 3 is the actual promised land. That's where you come into my year-long coaching program, where we meet 6 days a week. We're not playing, man. We meet 6 days a week. Okay, we trade live every day. We have coaching calls. We have counseling sessions. We have market preview sessions. We meet every single day. And the reason we meet every single day, because the more time you spend with me and my team, the faster you're going to start making $200, $300, $400, $500,000 days, man. So that's kind of the journey I take everybody on.
Okay, that's a nice journey too. I like how you kind of dripping people, you dripping things on people so everybody can kind of see, like, hey, am I going to, at the end of the day, I'm getting a flight. I got to book the ticket, but am I going to get, the first class, or am I going to get economy? And just kind of dripping them on and seeing where they want to be on the plane. Do they want to be in the front of the plane, or they want to be in the back where they got to wait for everybody else to get off first before they can get off?
Exactly.
I like that. And being on there, the promised land, 6 days a week, and you train live. What if it's like days that I can't make it? Are they recorded and it's like a platform where you can go watch these videos later or at any time?
Yeah, we have a whole platform that you go on to that all the classes are recorded. We have all of our coaching sessions, all of our live trading sessions, the counseling sessions. Everything is recorded on that back end.
Where do most people see themselves? Like, because I know, for me, I'm a little bit different. I like to jump straight to business. So I might skip the economy, but where do most people start in this journey? I know you like to drip on with the economy, but do most people take that step, or do most people kind of jump right in the middle or something like that?
Well, most people probably either start either at stage 1 or start at the mastermind, right? So this is gonna be my first ever mastermind, right? I used to have 5-day challenges, right? Where I gave them two of my 7 witnesses, right? But with the mastermind, I'm giving all of the witnesses, right? So most people would have started the challenge and then they would, go to the promised land. But with this mastermind, a lot of people probably started the mastermind or that 7-day thing. Honestly, I do not let people into the promised land without going through the mastermind or taking the $7 course, right? Because I'm a person that promised land is my inner circle. Mm-hmm. And in my inner circle, I'm responsible for every person that's in that inner circle. So I don't want anyone coming into my inner circle that's going to be negative and do not believe that they can't make $50,000 in 1 year trading stock options. Right. If I ask during the interview, because you got an interview for the promised land, during the interview process, I ask everybody, listen, do you think I can show you how to make $100 a day? Or do you think I can show you how to make $50,000 a year? If they say no to any one of those questions, they don't get into the promised land. You automatically disqualified. I don't care if you say, Chris, I have the money right here. I'm not going to let you in because your mindset is not in a place, and money is not the most important thing. I want to make sure everybody on the same page.
Right. So when it comes to those prerequisites of getting in the promised land, they got to go through the program first. They got to get with the program.
Yep.
And like having that mindset right,
Mm-hmm.
having that abundance mindset, that glass is half full mindset, at
Yep.
least going through the mastermind or what's step one? What would you call step
Stage
one?
one is options 101 secrets. It's a
Options 101, and that's an ebook.
It's a no, it's a 3 hour course. I decided not to do an ebook just because I'm a visual person, right? And when it comes to stocks, listen, that book is nice, but you got to see that person pushing those buttons and talking
Right.
to you, interacting with you. So I did a 3 hour course, right? 3 hour course, which is real dope. And then that's options 101 secret. Then the 5 day mastermind where I teach you 5 days, 5 days live, right? If you do VIP, you get 3 hours with me in 4 days of live trading. If you do regular admission, you get 2 hours of me each day, and you get 1 hour, 1 day of live trading.
Okay, and I respect that too. I'm thinking the same thing. Like it might be a little bit difficult for most people to consume an ebook about stocks. So just knowing that you put that extra thought into making it a visual experience,
Yep.
you kind of coaching people for 3 hours, I think that's an amazing gem. And I'm sure when we get off of here too, Chris, I'm gonna have you send me a link so that our special millionaires who joined us on this live and those who come through the channel, they have some type of link where they can go straight to that stage one and
Yes,
at
sir.
least experience your coaching from that level, and then seeing where they want to go in the journey from there. I think that'll be very special. And then of course, when we have you back on the show for our in-person conversation in January, you and I are going to definitely be talking deeper about the changes that you went through with the mastermind, how that went, to implement the promised land, how long you've been doing that, some of the success stories you've been having on the promised land. I want to definitely drip that on the people. But for today, I wanted to just introduce you to the community. Our millionaires are always looking for that next thing that will work for them, right? We getting introduced to a ton of different side hustles on social media, and sometimes it could be hard for people to pinpoint what will be the right one until they have somebody to get on a live like this, go one-on-one and explain what it is that they do, the ins and outs, the pros, the cons, everything, so that they can really weigh it out and see if it's going to be right for them. So before I let you go, Chris, if you could leave our listeners with some of the expectations of entering this realm of stock options, like the pros and the cons, or like what are some of the major things that people expect that end up not going the way that they expect.
Right. So this is the thing about it. When you come into this world, when you come into the stock option trading world, when you first see it, right, you're going to be like, this is it. I'm about to change my whole life. I'm about to because you're gonna make your first $100 in 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You're like, holy crap, I made $100 in 15 minutes, right? And now you're gonna think that you can just go into this market and make $1 million in one day. It's not that. This is something that you're gonna do for the rest of your life. This is not a get rich quick scheme. If you think it's a get rich quick scheme, it's not for you. This is something that you're gonna learn a skill set, and you can do this skill set every single day for the rest of your life. Every morning I wake up, I have the intention to make at least $800 to $1,000 a day. Every single morning, Monday through Friday, excluding weekends and holidays. Okay, so that's what I want you to understand. It's not a get rich quick scheme. You put the work in, you're going to be rewarded. But if you don't put the work in, you're not going to be rewarded. All right, that's the main thing.
I love it, and I'm sure for people. So two types of people probably came into this live, and those two types of people. The first one is going to be the person who never even heard of stock options before.
Yep.
This was probably perfect for them because it gave them a real entry level understanding of what it is, how it can affect their life, how they can get into it, and who they need to go to when they're ready to really lock and load. Then the second person is probably someone who is very familiar with it, but is also very wary and have not pulled the trigger yet after who knows how long of getting the information. And for that person, you probably see people on social media again who, showing those days where they might make $20,000, because you said not get rich quick. And I know you talking about pretty much teaching people how to make consistently $500 to $1,000 a day. And I think that's very reasonable, very attainable. But when you got these guys and these girls that are showing, you know, these $20,000 trades, these $50,000 trades, these big profits, these fat checks, I want you to kind of bring people to the reality of what that looks like. Is there a certain level of risk that needs to be assumed to see those days? Like, what does that look like? Because is it really possible, or is there some cap in that?
Gotcha. No, it's definitely possible. But you got this. This is what I tell people, right? It's definitely possible to make $20,000, $30,000 a day. But you got to ask your question: how much money is that person trading with, right? But this is the main thing I want you to understand: the amount of money someone is trading with is not important. The most important thing is the ROI. This is anything that you do in business, your return on your investment. If someone is trading with $100,000 and they make 10% on a trade, that means they made $10,000. But if you put $100 in and you make $10, that's still 10%. Who made the most money? Who made more money? You both made the exact same amount. You made 10%. Okay. So when you see people making $20,000, $30,000, they probably have in $80,000 to $100,000 trading. You see what I'm saying? And that's great. You see what I'm saying? They have that risk appetite. Me personally, I cannot trade with $100,000. I can't do it. My mind won't let me do it. So I try to trade around. I don't trade with no more than $20,000. I probably trade with as little as $2,000. Right? For 2023, I'm starting an account with $2,000 and I'm going to build up to $50,000. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do in 2023. I'll probably get more than 50,000 though, but I want to take it to 50,000 just to show people that, hey, listen, you can start off with a small account and do it. Okay, that's the main thing about it.
Bro, Chris, it was amazing. I appreciate you breaking that down for us, and it's gonna be quite the conversation we're gonna have in January, bro. Because I got some more questions that I want to ask, like, you know, just the risk management to the budgeting, the allocating the funds, building an account up to 50,000. Super interested in that, and I know that our listeners are gonna, you know, they can't wait to have you back on here as well. So, Chris, before I let you go, man, just one more thing: plug yourself in, tell our listeners where they can find you, and anything you want to leave our listeners with until we return in January.
Definitely. Hey, listen, man, I appreciate you having me on here. I love it, man. This is dope. I love your podcast, man. So definitely keep doing your work, man. Keep doing your thing, man. But you can find me on Instagram at cjack130. Listen, as soon as you follow me, you have a whole bunch of scammers start following you and sending you messages. Listen, that's not me. You never give anybody any money on Instagram that's saying they're me, because I will not ask you for any money ever on Instagram. Okay, so cjack130 on Instagram. You can find me here on YouTube. I just started a YouTube channel where I trade live every Wednesday. I'm posting content on there daily as well for the most part. And I think I'm Christopher Jackson. I think that's Options 101. And those basically the main place you can find me.
Awesome. Well, Chris.
And also, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give everybody that free. I'm gonna give everybody that course, that 3-hour course for free. So I'm gonna shoot that link to you, and then you can send it out to everybody, and we can go from there.
That's a blessing, man. So shout out to you, Chris, man, for looking out for the community. And that's why I love doing what I do, because, you know, every once in a while you get people like you who bless the community, and, you know, it makes me feel a certain way as well that I was able to be that connector and even bring you to, you know, to the audience. So shout out to you for blessing people with that late Christmas gift, that early New Year's gift, right? And shout out to the people who are going to take that link when I drop it, and they're going to actually take action with it and apply themselves and hopefully see themselves in that promised land, you know, in the next couple months or so. So, Chris, looking forward to chopping it up with you and seeing you in person in January. When we drop that episode, it's going to be some fire, some gas, some gems for the people. So, man, with that being said, guys, just remember to keep focused, build momentum, and drive results. We're going to see you in the next live